Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 10-Minute Bible Lesson. Thank you so much for joining us today. So Joshua dies at 110. I think I mentioned that before, maybe a couple of times. Would you like to live to be 110? I don't think I would. I just don't think so. I was looking on the internet trying to find the oldest person in the world. Now, you can fact check me on this because I really don't know, but it referenced a woman that lived in England that was 115. So I don't know, there may be somebody older than that. That's pretty old. But listen, Joshua, before he died, he gave a farewell address to the children of Israel, and he challenged them. He challenged them to be faithful to the Lord and to serve and to worship only God. And you can read about that. And I don't know if you remember, but I kind of asked you if you knew whether the children of Israel did what Joshua challenged them to do. That is to say, he challenged them to be faithful and serve only the Lord. I'm just asking you, and I asked this question before, and I said I'd answer it today, and I'm going to. But he said, will you serve the Lord? And listen, they all said yes. They said, yes, we will do that. So I'm going to answer it here in just a little bit. But you know what? They kept also their promise, the children of Israel did. Their promise to Joseph. Do you remember that promise? Joseph made them swear that when they left Egypt, they would take his bones and his coffin with them. They did that. And here they have fulfilled the promise that they made to Joseph. They buried Joseph's bones in a place called Shechem. So they kept that promise. But did they keep the promise to serve the Lord? Well, let's look and just see what it says. Now, this is in Joshua, the last chapter, chapter 24, verse 31. And here's what it says. Listen carefully. Israel served the Lord all the days of Joshua. I don't know if that surprised you or not. So Israel served the Lord all the days of Joshua and all the days of the elders who outlived Joshua, who had known all the works of the Lord, which he had done for Israel. So it looks like they did. I mean, it's kind of a surprising thing that they actually kept the promise, and they kept that promise about burying the bones of Joseph. Eliezer, who was Aaron's son, he died as well. So Aaron had died, Moses has died, Joshua has died, Eliezer has died too. And so now, listen, they're moving into a different phase of their history, the children of Israel's history. They're moving out of one phase into another phase, and this new phase that they're entering into is a really stark contrast to this generation, to Joshua's generation, because the next generation, they did just the opposite. In fact, they were very disobedient. They didn't obey God. In fact, the whole period of time, which is called the period of the Judges, is a period of about 400 years. And even though Joshua's generation was faithful to the Lord, the next generation was not. And in this next period of history, which is a 400-year period of history, the children of Israel enter into a cycle. And this cycle includes four things. The first thing is they rebel against God. The second thing is that God judges them. The third part of the cycle is that they humble themselves and they repent to God. And the fourth thing is that God has mercy on them. And so you see generation after generation go through these cycles. And so how did God help them? And so God helped them by sending a champion to them. That is a champion or a deliverer. Now these champions were called judges. So they were not only champions and deliverers, but they also judged the children of Israel. They served as a judge. So in Judges chapter 2, verses 11 and 12, it says, Then the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord and served the Baals, and they forsook the Lord God of their fathers, get that? Who had brought them out of the land of Egypt. And they followed other gods from among the gods of the people who were around them. And they bowed down to them, and they provoked the Lord to anger. Now, let me try to make an application here. So, even though America's history is not as long as Israel's history, and it's really not exactly similar to Israel's history, but there are some similarities in it. And so here's one of the similarities. The children of Israel, they forsook the God of their fathers, and America has too. America has forsaken the God of its forefathers, and they've turned to other things. Now, we've made gods here in America of ourselves. Now we are the gods. We don't need God. we could do this. In fact, it's not just America, it's the Western world. We don't need God anymore. We can take care of everything ourselves. And another thing that we've done, if I can explain this, is that we've taken the God of the Bible and in our minds, we've modified God. In other words, we've kind of molded and shaped Him into what we want Him to be, instead of what the Scriptures tells us that God is. So there are consequences to those things. And what are the consequences to a country that forsakes God? Well, what happens is we begin to corrupt from within us. Prayers go out of school. That happened in the 60s. I know that was a long time ago. The Ten Commandments, they made them move out of the public square. They couldn't post them anymore in the public square. We've abandoned the moral standards that God has given us in His Word. That's one of the things that we've done. And what happens when we do that, our society begins to break down. And that's really why you see all the craziness and stuff going on in our country, because it's a consequence or a result from us forsaking our way. And you know, the children of Israel did the same thing. What goes? What is it that begins to crumble? Our family. Because that's the basic building block of society. So God set up the family. And He set it up. It was to be a man married to a woman. And through that union that God blesses, that children are brought into that as a family unit. And hopefully they're in a healthy environment where the children have both a father and a mother. Because children deserve to have a father and mother. Well, what has happened because we've abandoned God's values, we've made up our own rules about family. And we've made up our own rules about marriage. You know, we can, two men can marry, two women can marry. I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff that's going on. And even the family itself has been redefined. So you know, it messes things up and it causes things to go. Listen, even all of our institutions, think about all of our institutions that are have kind of started to rot on the inside. Who am I talking? I'm talking about the educational institutions. No, really, the things that they're doing in there and the things that they're trying to teach. Listen, the problem is that they're not fulfilling their purpose to educate children. Children can't read, they can't do math, they can't do science. I mean, this is a consequence from it. Not only that, they're interested in social engineering. They're trying to persuade children without their parents' knowledge to change their genders and things like that. Listen, the educational system is corrupt. We need to pray for it. I mean, God tells us if we'll pray and seek Him, He'll change things. Not only that, but other institutions like the news. You know, you have what they call the legacy news, which has been around for years and years, decades and decades and decades. And it used to be the place where everyone would go and get news. And because you could trust them and they would give you the facts and they would speak truth to power, but not today. it's been taken over, and they do more lying than they do anything. So the news and the media, that institution's corrupt. The entertainment industry, really, come on. You can't hardly go see a decent movie anymore. And on TV, you can't hardly watch anything on TV that's different. It used to be that these TV programs, they all had, a moral lesson. Not anymore. They're teaching immoral lessons. So anyway, I mean, I'm kind of getting on my soapbox. Even government is corrupt. So it's not the first time that this has happened. Listen, you can read the Bible and read the history of the children of Israel, and when they forsook the Lord, bad things happen. And that's true. Listen, that's true with any country, even the United States. So we need to get back. We need to get back. And the children of Israel needed to get back because God was angry with them and God was going to punish them. Well, let me read our last verse. And it tells you kind of what God is going to do to Israel. And this is in the book of Judges, chapter 2, verse 15. He says this, he says, wherever they went out, speaking of the children of Israel, wherever they went out, the hand of the Lord was against them for calamity. God wasn't going to bless them when they forsook Him. So it says, as the Lord had said, and as the Lord had sworn to them, and they were greatly distressed. And so anyway, that's what happens. I mean, if you want a family to be blessed, have God as the central focus of the family. That's true with the community. It's true with the state. It's true with the nation. And it was true with the children of Israel. So we're going to get into this period of time in our lessons now, which is a period of the judges. We're going to be looking at some of those judges, some of those deliverers. Maybe you could tell me some of them. Maybe you could name some of them. You could remember. But anyway, that's all that we have for today. And we appreciate you joining us. We hope that you'll tune in next time when we continue our lessons about the book of Judges.